can actually have more people that have disabilities, wheelchairs, have an opportunity to sit up front and look and be able
see the show.
to come in instead of having to be all the way down at the end or whatever. Absolutely did. Don Schott, that's his company. Him and
Great
his crew
work.
are amazing. Came in, knocked it out. Anything and everything he does, it looks professional. But yeah, we had a couple work days. Still have a little bit of, to do or whatever before the next Saturday practice.
Right. So let me kind of break in right there because the biggest over the winter. We've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people about this and that and rumors that they've heard.
Where are you going?
Let's kind of lead in with this where we start jumping too far into the what else is going on. But yes, there have been some negotiations over the winter and some rumors, and let's just kind of squash that stuff right now before we get hit with
which one do you think is the biggest rumor?
Well, I'd say there's two that are real tight. I mean, the fact that I'll let you go ahead and tell them. So you're moving up in ranks.
Yeah, I'm going from the crew chief, crew guy aspect to more of the Moxie Media announcers type deal.
So you do have it. We have got everything done, and yes, you have negotiated a deal with Sunset. You will be the man on the mic up there.
I am now the voice of Sunset Speedway.
Yep. And
this might actually help me with talking in front of people.
Oh, you do fine. You do fine. The other one that we wanted to talk about was because it's been a big question over the winter.
Where are you going?
Well, I'm going back to Willamette.
What are you going to do?
I'm going back to Willamette, and it's been exciting. I'm happy about it. I'm not happy about leaving Sunset. I'll tell you one thing: you have up there is a crew that is just fantastic. I am happy to be going home of sorts. Willamette to me it's home. It's the premier dirt track in the West, and
you got some competition.
Well, I don't doubt that.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
But here's the thing about it. Some of the stuff that we've talked about off air that we're working real tight together as Moxie, and we've got some features coming up in the 2016 season with you being at Sunset, myself going back to Willamette. We're going to be doing some things for the fans.
Yep.
That we're not just about promoting Sunset and Willamette, but we're about promoting racing, period. Whether you're at Sunset for the Gems Thriftway 100 or you're at Willamette Speedway for the Clare Cup.
Right.
We're about promoting racing, and that's what it's about. And, there's some things going on at Cottage Grove we're going to talk about.
Right.
A lot of stuff going on at Cottage Grove that we're going to talk about. But, we're going to be doing some stuff interactive from racetrack to racetrack during the show that will keep everybody kind of
mixed in together.
What's going on in the Northwest? It's going to be first and forehand. We're going to hit them right in the mouth with a lot of information this year, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So, congrats on your deal at Sunset.
Congrats on your deal.
I appreciate it.
That's awesome.
We got to work together a little bit last year and had a great time doing it. And we'll do it again a couple times this year, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we also got the deal in California. Go down there for the Bud Nationals. Yeah, we're going to do that together.
We're looking forward to doing that.
Possibly do speed weeks and stuff like that.
Well, it's been talked about. We'll see what happens. I don't want to throw that out there yet.
That's why I said possible.
Right.
Possible.
But,
and giving these guys a little bit of a bug in their ear,
well,
too.
The other thing about it, too, is there has been so much change over the winter, and we talked about, we just mentioned Cottage Grove. Ben Deathridge, again, will be the man on the mic there.
Down at Cottage Grove, yeah.
He is the Cottage Grove.
We actually are going to talk to him after a little bit.
Right, we'll be talking with him. But, there was been a lot of activity down south at that little bull ring, and a lot of changes. And once again, when we get Ben to call in, we'll talk with him about that. But it's been a lot of fun over the winter. It's been insane since the car show. Some of the things we wanted.
Insane, I think, is an understatement.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's been thrash.
Right.
This is crazy.
It's been you think building a race car in a short amount of time is hard. Try doing it on this end, which this is the first year where it's just been complete chaos. You get thrown into the hurricane, and there's information coming from every source possible, and you've got to sort out what's real, what's not, who's doing what's factual, and it'll keep you busy. I'll tell you that, it'll keep you busy. But we wanted to talk about some of the things that are some of the new stuff happening just in the last 24 hours. High Octane Diecast, Paul Moses,
right?
We've talked with him quite a bit. For those of you,
he's a huge part of this year.
Big
for both Willamette and Sunset.
He'll be everywhere. That guy
Junior Fan Club is coming back.
Right. And see, the thing about that one guy, somebody to put a junior dirt club at one racetrack is awesome, but to do it at two racetracks with, That guy is just, I mean, I don't
He's
know how he
everywhere.
does. I don't know how he does it. But if you follow those guys on Facebook, High Octane Diecast, recent a change of name on their page, had to go from High Octane Diecast to High Octane Diecast and Promotions because of Facebook's rules and regulations with
They actually
names.
locked him out.
Yeah, they locked him out.
And then it's like he couldn't get into his account.
Right.
He couldn't get back into any of his pictures. He couldn't do anything. Literally, he had to start all back over.
And it's simply just because of the name on his page. So, you know,
Yep.
if that's one thing about Facebook that's a little goofy. You know, you should be able to use any name you want as long as it's not offensive.
Right.
But, you know, because the way his page was set up, he had to change his name. And that is why if you follow him on Facebook, it's now High Octane Diecast
And Promotions. Yep.
So, you know.
But we know he's listening too. So I mean,
And we
He's always
love Paul,
listening.
and we'll be doing a lot of
Yeah.
stuff with Paul this year, and yeah, it'll be fun to work with him. So let's kind of talk about some of the schedules coming up. You know, we're looking at your first practice at Sunset coming up this weekend. You're going to back it up with another practice. Okay, Willamette, we're going to practice this Saturday. We're having another practice session, and we're going to race. The
On the
16th will be the first race at Willamette. Now, for you guys, I believe it's the 22nd or 23rd?
we actually race. Our first practice is on the 9th. Our second practice, a little test and tune, is on the 16th, and the 23rd is our 30th anniversary season opener.
See, this is cool. This is something else I was waiting for you to say that because Sunset starts their 30th anniversary, which I know a lot
And
of
we
folks.
have a new slogan too.
Well, a lot of folks up there don't realize Sunset's 30 years old this
30
year, and
years
it
old.
doesn't seem like it. It really doesn't seem like it from where that track's gone when it was first created to be 30 years old this year. On top of that, Willamette Speedway is celebrating its 50th anniversary this season. Now, a lot of people didn't realize that. 1966, the first year of operation for Willamette, our 50th anniversary this year. So,
And you guys it's your Cabin Fever opener.
Cabin Fever.
That's an awesome
season openers
I
and
still think that's a
exciting,
cool
but you
name.
know, I think the big races this year are going to be really, really important at Willamette as far as, you know, the Clare Cup. You know, I know the Clare Cup isn't 50 years old, but it's the 50th birthday for Willamette, so I think you're going to see the heavy hitters coming out, and then, you know, you put $5,000 to win that show. Now, I have talked, kind of talking about that a little bit, you know, who ran the Lucas Oil Series, brings some big money in. He's got a lot of guys backing him up. So the technology down there, it's an even playing field.
Yep.
The only thing that isn't even is the fact they run those tracks 30 times a year where, you know, the Oregon Northwest boys, you know, California, they get down there once, twice a year at best. So they're coming up here.
To our house.
They're coming up here to the Northwest. And I'm telling you, Clay, if you're listening, I'm sure you are, you better bring your A game, pal, because these guys know you're coming, and it's a whole different ball game up here in the Northwest.
We talked about this during the car show, and we had a lot of people sitting there saying, "Hey, bring it." They're ready for the California guys to come up. I mean, they sat there and they said, "Hey, we go down there and it's fun," and I mean, they're waiting for us, and they talk all their smack, and hey, it's fun to go down there. But now what? The tables are turned. I'll tell you what.
That's it. The tables are turned.
It's going to be absolutely interesting. I can't wait to see it because there's going to be a lot of story behind it, and I'm sure there's going to be stories for years to come because of it.
Oh, no doubt. But, you know, and that's the thing about it, too, though. These guys, you know, you hear them talking, you know, on Facebook. You'll see little remarks being pitched out there and
little innuendos.
You know, little smack talking. But, you know, and this is the thing I love about dirt track racing. It's the camaraderie.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, those guys will come up here and, hey, we're coming to take your money. We're gonna put it on you. And
bring it.
they'll be the first to jump out there and help you change a tire or, you know, fix a body panel or change a stop. Now, while we're talking about that, I know we were talking about scheduling, but I'm going to tell an old story, and this will crack you up. Chad Reichenbach. It kind of depends on what part of the country you're at. It's all German, right? So a few years, a long time ago, when the TNG Thriller was really starting to build the name at Willamette, 67 laps for $3,000 to win. Reichenbach is quoted in the local paper here in Albany as saying he's coming up here to make it clear that he's leaving with that $3,000, and if you can't win at Willamette, you can't win anywhere. Okay, if you want to be somebody on the West Coast, that's where you got to win, right? Big show, big money, big names. Him and a couple of the California guys showed up, and where does Reichenbach land in the feature? He lands on the outside of the front row. What happened next is something that I think Chad would like to forget, because in that 67 laps, okay, now that smack talk kind of, these local guys took that a little personal. Okay, in that 67 lap feature, Chad was down 7 laps at the end of the checkered flag, so.
I wonder how that worked out for him.
Not real well.
Was he re-quoted back in the journal?
He wasn't quoted at all. I think he just kind of cut bait and headed for the border. But, we watched him in practice the night before, and I watched him burn up 2 sets of rear tires in less than 30 laps. He's coming in. He's got it all just cranked aggressive. Up. He's sideways and burning the tires up. And the RPMs were there, but the speed wasn't. And I think and that goes back to the time that I mentioned earlier where they were a lot farther behind us in technology and – well, now the playing field is going to be more even, but yeah, it was a fun thing to watch. Actually, Pappenhausen was the highest finishing California car that night, but he did all right up here. But it'll be interesting to see that part of the year because the Clare Cup got changed where
these guys can come
up.
Well,
the less chance of a rain out. It was so early in the season before. Now they moved it down farther into the summer where we're going to have
a little bit better weather, a little bit predictable weather than earlier in the season.
And you don't have to really worry about having one of their bigger races that the year, rained
and
out.
that's the thing too is a lot of racers know that the first race of the season kind of kicked off this last week actually up in Yakima. I had opportunity stuff to go up there for work actually related and stop by the track of course. I'm not going to sit there and drive by when I'm 6 blocks away and not stop by and talk to some of the guys. And I actually got to talk to John Campos. He talked about a little bit, his car's really good. He said that the track was really, really, really rough. He says typical Yakima. He says it was fast. Car was fast.
That's a big racetrack.
But it just didn't perform the way he wanted to. The second night, I think he, performed a little bit worse than what he expected. But I talked to Superman himself, Colin Weinbarger. He said the car handled really good. I believe he finished second to Jesse Williamson, which was beyond fast the first night.
Jesse's fast any night, every night, wherever he goes. But I was, I didn't get a chance to get up there, but I watched it real close on Facebook. Mm-hmm. I was looking for the updates, and I was watching what the Oregon guys were doing up there because, that's a
they represented really, really.
They
well.
really were. I mean,
really
you had Williamson, you had Weinbarger. Craig Hansen was up there with the new Victory Circle car. You had Lightning. In the 36, Johnny
Lightning.
I mean, you had a lot of guys up there with good drivers with really good equipment. And I know we just threw some names out there. We're not going to skip over everybody, but to go see those guys go up there again at a track they only see once a year.
Yep.
To go up there on that big fast track.
Tour, and they were excited. You had Lawrence O'Connor all the way from Canada. He came all the way down. I mean, he tours a lot of stuff with us, and it's really good to see him. Coming from like Elma and coming down and do some of the tour stuff. He's such an amazing guy to talk to. He kind of got tore up a little bit. He said that he was going to get into. He tried to last year. He said tear down the wall. Well, again, the wall is 3-0 with him tearing it down because it's. Yeah, he kind of got the right rear quarter panel smashed in, but he said it was fun. Everybody's looking forward, to that first race of the season. First race point season, I guess, for Willamette, of course, is next week. Banks Sunset Speedway is in 2 weeks, or actually 3 weeks from now. So everybody is excited. People have got their, their cars together. Some people went up there just to kind of shake the cars down to see what they were going to do, and some people said, well, I'm just going to kind of hold off and race our tracks down here and wait for, Willamette, Yakima maybe for another time. But it definitely wasn't without its thrills and spills and its stories, of course, at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, one of the guys that didn't go up there, Ron Berry, who just recently purchased, his car owner, Nick Anderson, purchased the Lester Free Modified that you're familiar with there at Sunset.
Oh, yeah.
Ron was out there at Willamette shaking down the new Modified. The car looked great. And talking with him, and he says, hey, look, I am excited to be in this car. We've got, those guys, they went big. They've got two late models in their stables now. They've got a ton of new tires. Those guys they're really anticipating the season. They're looking forward to the big races. I know the one that everybody is looking forward to, not just Ron Berry, but, if you go to June 4th, the Strawberry Cup presented by Napa, you're going to have, this is cool, the super late models, the IMCA modifieds, the super sports, the sportsman, and the street stocks. That's a lot of really good race cars for one night of racing at the Strawberry Cup. And then, the IMCA Modified Madness, you're going to see that on June 25th. The Claire Cup on 7-2. And then 7-3, is the big
$5,000 to win late models.
Right,
$5,000. And we don't get to see a lot of those big prizes and stuff up here. It's $1,000 or whatever for some of these late models.